Your first phase of training, strength and conditioning, is level 2 strength. Okay, the dates on this program are May 25th to June 22nd. Be sure that you pay particular attention to the training considerations that are found on the first page of your strength and conditioning packet. Day number 1 is your lower body day. So I'm going to begin by going over the power lift, which in this case is a barbell power clean. Make sure you do all 3 sets of this lift first, with rest in between, before you move on to circuit number 1. So the barbell clean. If you've got good experience with this lift, then make sure you're lifting the appropriate amount of weight that we ended with when you left campus. If you're an incoming freshman and you do not know how to do this lift properly, then practice the teaching progressions that I'm going to teach you now, and then progress into the entire lift. But I'm going to show you a few exercises that you can do if you're not very familiar with this lift that are going to help you become better at this lift. So first, picking the bar up. You want your hands down and a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Okay? Pull the bar in very close to your legs. Should almost be touching your shins. You don't want to try to pull the bar from a couple inches or even 6 inches away from your legs. You're going to be in trouble. So right up close to the legs, chest up, head up. This is the starting position of this lift. Head up, chest up, hips down, below the shoulders. Once you achieve that, the first part of the lift is a forceful deadlift, locking the knees out. It looks like this. That's the first portion of the lift, a forceful deadlift lockout. If you're just practicing, this is a good place to start. Pop your hips right forward into the bar. The next action in the pull phase is an aggressive shrug and upright row. So the next part is called a high pull. It's a deadlift plus a shrug and upright row. Very forceful. This is called a high pull. Try to create as much momentum upward on the bar as you can. That's the pull. That is the pull phase of the lift. The second phase of the lift is simply creating the shelf and catching the barbell. It looks like this. Now you may want to use a little bit lighter weight to practice this. Even the barbell is fine. But creating the shelf looks like this. It happens at the peak of the high pull. Make sure the elbows are up and the bar is resting on the shoulders. You shouldn't have your elbows down. If your elbows are down, you're supporting all the weight with your spine, and you're in a very bad position. So the high pull, at the peak of that, that's where you're going to flip your wrists and circle your elbows down and around the bar and create your shelf. Looks like this again. Bar is resting on the shoulders. The last part of it is the catch, or the second part of the catch, where directly after you've created your shelf, you cradle the bar and squat down into a quarter or a half or even a full squat, depending on how low you want to go with it. So I'll show you the entire catch, the shelf and the catch. Then stand up into the lockout position. So I'll show you that again. This is the catch phase. Now again, if you're struggling with the power clean, or you've learned it incorrectly, or you just haven't learned it at all, start with the basics. Work on the first, the second, the third, and the fourth exercise that I just taught you until you can do the power clean properly. The entire power clean, however, looks like this. From the floor, I'm going to put everything together and do a couple reps for you. So here, high pull, shelf, catch. Block it out. Show you one more. That's the barbell power clean. After you've done all 3 sets, take a brief rest and then work on circuit number 1. We're going to show you that now. Now that you're on circuit number 1, let me explain briefly how we do the circuit. You have 4 exercises. Now make sure you do 1 set on each exercise before you come back to the barbell squats. Don't do all 3 sets of the barbell squat and then move on to exercise number 2. Do exercise number 1, do the second one, do the third one, do the fourth one, and then repeat until you're done with all 3 sets on each. So I'm going to take you through a typical circuit right now. This is circuit 1. It starts with barbell squats. Most of you should know how to do this move. The main thing is just to make sure that you're achieving parallel depth with your squat. That's how we do it here, and we won't accept anything less than that. So here, barbell squat, have to get at least this depth here. Parallel. And then lock it out. If you haven't been squatting like that, make sure you start this summer. Because when you get here, that's how we do it. Next is called a barbell Romanian deadlift, RDL. You take an alternating grip with this. 1 hand over, 1 hand under. It doesn't matter which one, just whatever's comfortable for you. Pick the bar up the same way that you picked up your barbell power clean. Chest up, head up. That's how you pick it up off the floor. Once you get that, you go into your first rep. Toe, hips back, chest up, run the barbell right down the front of your legs, and then pop the hip forward into the bar. We don't go straight legs here. Straight legs, no good. You want to bend your knees slightly. Your back should stay very straight, very flat. Looks like this. Once you're done, set the bar down the same way you picked it up, and then move on to your next exercise. Okay, next exercise. You're going to need a plate. If you have access to medicine balls, you can use a medicine ball as well. But if you're going to use a plate, try to get one that's about 5 to 6 inches off the ground, or any very stable object that's that high off the ground. You'll be able to do this exercise with. It's called a plate crossover push-up. So you start here. The feet are about hip width apart. The feet do not move, just the upper body is going to move. You do a push-up, and then you're going to transit your body weight over the plate and do another one on the other side. So you're here, push up, move your body weight over the plate for as many reps as you have to do. Make sure the hips don't rotate a lot, and make sure that the feet are staying in the same spot on the floor. If you're doing it right, you should feel it you should feel it in your chest, but also you should feel it in your stomach as well. And your last exercise in circuit number 1 is called a supine rotation. So you're going to be on the floor in this position, knees bent to 90, knee in line with your hip, and then you just rotate your hips to the right, and then pull it up and over to your left. Make sure the legs are not falling. Don't let your legs fall forward. Keep them in line with the hip. After you're done with the supine rotation, just like we talked about before, go back to the barbell squat and complete circuit 1 until you've done all 3 sets.